So it's been 11 months since I got done the Lumberyard skiff, and it went to Florida, where it's been fished very hard. Probably been used over 200 days, and stored. It's stored outside. So this is going to be pretty much an addendum video of what has not worked, which is, I think, is important as what does work. And so we're going to go over a few things here and see if we can figure out a remedy. Alright, so here's the inside. This typically has a cedar sole on it. You can see the cedar plank marks on the cross member there, butt block. And this boat is stored on the side of a house where, I mean, it's really a combination of a pretty bad environment for a boat, because the water runs off the roof, doesn't have a gutter, runs into the boat. Unfortunately, down in Dunedin, Florida, they don't think that you should have boats out where you can see them, but it's a beach environment, and so you have to put them where you can put them. In this instance, it's beside a house. So, and it's not level, and the boat nose is down, so it holds water when it's not being used. That ended up making the multi-surface yellow paint on the bottom fail. You can see on the sides it's not doing bad, though there is some checking on the plywood on the insides with the multi-surface. So is that a good paint or a bad paint for this application? Who knows? I mean, if it's stored under shed, an example would be my Albion back there under the shed. My paint's all still in really good shape, but it's not out in the weather getting wet all the time. So who knows what the long term on this boat's going to be. So our game plan for this is we're going to strip all this paint off, and we're going to end up letting it dry out a good bit in the sun. We're lucky we're going to have a good 5 days of just absolutely beautiful weather here. Now, my moisture meter I used, I put it on the high setting, and it's running off the chart, so it's over 35% moisture. So we're going to put a fan on it, leave it out in the sun, and force dry it. And then we're going to coat it with that copper coat and see what kind of effect that has. So my other failure was, this boat by design was to have two little keels about 6 foot long from the transom up to the first frame, I think. And that was it. They were small profile. Well, I thought it would be really cool to use a big piece of treated lumber on the bottom to be able to beach it and not have to worry about it. You know, run it on your runners right there, and it wouldn't wear on the bottom of the boat and all that good stuff. So at this point you can see where the stainless steel rub guard on the front is hanging down. That was down into the keel that I applied at the time that I built it. The problem is that this boat, that keel is a couple inches thick, and this boat has, by its simplicity of design, has just a couple butt blocks running across as its structure, and the plywood free spans between those, so that makes the plywood a little flexy. There's a lot of these boats out there and it works, but with this application I tried to use a board on the outside to stiffen it, and didn't take into consideration what might happen, which is that board was way stiffer than the plywood. So it was pretty much the water wave action is acting like a hammer trying to beat it away from the stiffer wood. And what happened was the glue failed, and if you can see right there, the screws actually pulled through the plywood, so that keel separated from the boat. Therefore, it's been removed, and we will probably go with the 2 keels that was spec'd by the designer in their placement as a replacement to that one. So that was another thing that failed in the end on this boat, and was a learning experience. And you can see down through there what happened.